Yo, it's Kamikaze here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. I know, 3 in a row. It's almost as if I'm jumping on the bandwagon like every other person on the internet. Anyway, today I am going to be showing you the builds that I have made on the end survival part of the IDMC server. Now, this is pretty much the only server I play Minecraft on. It's alright, yeah. This is the only server I play on in Minecraft. This and my 1.14 survival hardcore world and my 1.13.2 creative world, which I showed you in my last video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I just show you all these builds. But in the end survival part of this world, the end survival, I actually take a lot of the builds from my creative world and build them on this server, because this server is 1.13.2. But you can play on 1.14, but it's very glitchy and you can't use any of the 1.14 blocks or add-ons or additions. Anyway, let's go to Warp Amazon. This was the first warp I made on this server, and it's very run down. I'm actually encasing it in a massive cobblestone wall, as you can see here. This, you may remember this, I built this on my creative world as a little map fan art type thing, and I built it on this. Sadly it is between two maps and it's very tiny actually. Once you look at it on a map, it's pretty small, but it looks decent, I guess. But this is just a basic farm. This, you'll remember this build, I haven't actually built the interior from my creative world because it is not the best interior. This is my Amazon warehouse. I even have the Amazon. As you can see, all the letters are the same. I didn't mess up the letters. And it's even got the arrow, which I'm still very proud of. Here's another Amazon warehouse. It is different from that, but in the same sort of style, same build palette. And if you Google Amazon warehouses, you will find building similar to these two. Over here we have, this is, if you remember my greenhouse design that I had in that creative world, this is like the shrunken down smaller version of it, and it's a massive pumpkin and melon harvester, as you can see here, and it goes pretty far. It goes outside the cobblestone walls, and then this is just to activate it again. This is one of my favourite things. I don't really build a lot of redstone, so I'm really proud of this, the fact that it works. This is a one-tick cactus farm, because cactus used to be the main way to make money on this server. They changed it now back to iron, because iron's easier to get and makes more sense as a currency. Anyway, that is pretty much everything for Warp Amazon. I shall show you my other warps now. So let's go to Warp Edfoot. This is a tower. A lot of my builds are this. They're in this style. They're very like Middle Eastern, Egyptian, sort of ancient ruins type builds. But this is actually an Elder Guardian farm. As you can see, here's the lava the Elder Guardians drop into, and here's spawners. They spawn here and around here, and they drop into the lava, as you can see there. Now it is a pretty efficient farm. It could be more efficient, but I haven't made it more efficient. So kind of lazy. But it is I'm actually really proud with how this turned out. But apart from that, that's about it. Now over to Warp Teal. This is another Egyptian Middle Eastern ruin. It is a pyramid. Now I could have just made this, blocks going up, but I decided to add these slabs to make it more rundown, make it more of a ruin, and give it more detail. Now if you build your own pyramid, make sure you do that, because it makes it look pretty cool. But I was planning on adding TNT troopers to come down here and blow it all up, but TNT isn't enabled on this server, sadly, and this is also where I get all my sandstone for all my builds. Okay, that's pretty much it for this warp. Now to Warp Jurash. This is the warp that I've built most recently on, I guess. My own one that I own, I guess. I'm really proud of this floor. It's a really cool floor design. and it gives off an almost optical illusion of the way it looks. I don't know, it's cool. But this is actually my cow farm. You may remember the designs I had. If you come up here, see it's all very industrialised. It's not finished, and it is kind of glitchy and buggy, but it works very well. And that's where I get all my food for, you know, surviving. Because it's a survival after all. But yeah, there's not much to it other than it uses a lot of gold. I have my own gold farm on this server, so it's not much of a problem. And all the sandstone I got from Warp to Kiel, sorry. They're all also Egyptian and Middle Eastern names. It's also this little pond that runs down into the sewer bit. So now on to my others. I think this is my biggest warp actually, Warp Petra, named after a Attack on Titan character and a place in Egypt, I believe, or Jordan. It's in one of them. But this is by far the biggest build I have made on this server, and probably the most detailed. This took me a while, but you may remember this is in, I believe this is actually in Petra, this temple, sorry. And you may remember it from Indiana Jones, one of the later ones, where they leave this temple. I forget which Indiana Jones it is, that's my bad. But this temple is actually in the side of a cliff face in real life, so you can actually see the back of it. It's all encased in this cliff. It's about what I believe it would look like if it wasn't encased in a cliff. If it would actually look like this, I don't know, but it's very, very nice. I couldn't find many interior pictures, so I built my own interior. Sadly, water dropped down and destroyed made the concrete into normal. But this is also an iron golem farm. This is also very industrialised upstairs, if I can go up there. And here, look at this. So when iron golems spawn here, they get pushed down eventually all the way to the bottom here, and they either fall down here, down here, down here, down here, down here. I need to get more iron golem spawners for that, but it is a really efficient farm, and that's where I make pretty much all my money on the server. And up here, this is where I AFK. I usually have, I still need to duplicate this side over here, which will take me a while. And this minecart rail is to keep me from getting kicked from the server when I AFK, to keep the iron golem spawning and all that. But that's about it for Warp to Kiel. I did have, Warp Petra, I did have a wither underneath here with the name, but someone somehow got in and killed the wither, which is annoying because wither skulls are really rare in this server because withers don't really spawn anymore. So I'm either gonna have to buy wither skulls, which are like 1 mil each on the server, or I'll go wither skeleton hunting, which will take me literal weeks to actually get all the skulls. So that's pretty much it for my warps. I do have a few more, but they're pretty unnecessary. So now to the big warp itself, Warp Eureka. This is the city that I build most of my things on. It is a massive city, but I'm actually going to show you. It's the second biggest warp on the server. It should be the biggest, but sadly it isn't. One other warp, we actually counted block for block. One other warp is like 20 blocks bigger, which is annoying. This is actually my first ever house I built in the server. It's very basic because we took over this village. These are the old villages before 1.14, the basic villages. But I destroyed a house that was here and built my own. I was also messing around with name tags and the colour thing, and I really messed up, as you can see. But I have completely drained this house of all its resources pretty much and moved them all over to my main house, which I will show you in a bit. You've actually seen it in my creative world. But here, this is the finished version of, remember the Kong Tower from a creative video I did? This is the finished product of that. As you can see, there's a gorilla face door entranceway. But as you can tell like why I would stop after like 3-4 floors, because it's all pretty much repeated patterns all the way up. I'm proud of this build, not proud of this one. I want to destroy this build, but Zed, the guy who actually owns the city, won't let me destroy this build. He says he likes it. I don't like it. I actually did do an interior to this. It's sort of a bar, a prison, and a hotel all mixed in. I don't know. It is. I like the entrance. I like the stone part, but I don't like the bit above it. Over here we have my apartment buildings that I built. Really proud of how these turned out. This was a freestyle build, so whatever I placed down I couldn't take away. And I'm proud with the finished product. Although someone did copy this building block for block, and I got them banned from the server because they also griefed the interior of it. Because I did actually have an interior. This was an inn, and people would like come in and sleep in the rooms, use the chests, etc. But someone came in and took it all for themselves, so I got them banned. Someone's actually living in here. Well, they took the bed. But yeah, then the rooms are pretty much all identical, except from the top floor it's slightly smaller than the 2 floors below it. But yeah, I don't usually do interiors. Don't know why I did one for that. But here's the church that we built. Now, I didn't see most of the church. I only saw the interior. But there's the dome. Oh, sorry. But yeah, here's the dome that I built. You can tell it's pretty much identical to the one in my creative world. And here's the actual church that I built. The only thing I saw from the church was this. That's why I used a lot of endstone in the dome, but they didn't want the endstone there, so I got rid of it. And this. Now this is a really good interior. I also done the interior for the dome. It's a really good build, this. This is actually, could probably get me builder rank on the server if I wanted, but I don't, because that's too much responsibility. So yeah, we even have the organ up here using the Ender Dragon heads as the trick with the ears, make it look like piano keys. It's a really good build. This is also one of my builds. I'm also very proud of this. It fits right in with the server. I did start an interior to this, but someone bought the building, so they moved in, I guess. So I didn't need to build the interior. Over here you can tell this is another building that I started on my creative world. I didn't finish it on my creative world, there's not much point. I don't like the roof. I would get rid of this. It's meant to be a telescope, it doesn't really look like one. But yeah, it's just a finished product from my creative world. Here is the fire station. Like I said in my creative video, you should really watch that before this. This is 5 floors taller in this server than it is in my creative world, because if it was smaller I wouldn't fit in with the surrounding buildings. Also, the garage doors actually work on this. So we push this, push this button. I haven't actually tried this in a while, so it might not work. And the doors drop down. Then we can go in, and then we push a button again, and the doors go up. Kind of like garage doors. And the only reason I've done that is because it's meant to be a fire station, and fire stations usually have these big red garage doors. And with the addition of concrete being gravity blocks, I thought I'd do it because it works. This building here, this sort of Toblerone looking building, it's based off of the Flatiron building, or my rendition of the Flatiron building on the old End Survival, which was on the IDMC server before it reset, because they reset the server because it had been live since like 2015 when I started playing, and there was pretty much no space for anyone to build anymore. So they reset the server to 1.13.2. So I rebuilt one of my buildings I had on that, except it is kinda smaller, and I also have a bit of an interior on this one as well. It's just a basic interior. You know, I'll probably sell it to someone and they can do an interior. Here is my taller buildings that I made that were above the height limit that I had, because every building was supposed to be shorter than this one. I kind of broke that rule with this building here. I'm proud of it. It's very basic and I have no interior, so it's very see-through at the moment. And then we have this one. This is probably my favourite building. It even has this massive banner on it. That is Japanese for work, and work in Swahili is kazi. So, you know, because I made these two above the height limit, Zed had to obviously make his building higher because it's his warp, it's his city. He needs to have the biggest build. Then down here we have this tiny little structure here. This is a little monument for the old End Survival before it got reset. There was a diamond door here, but someone came in and stole it. This is Trump Tower. I haven't actually built this. This is built by Zed because his name at the moment is Lord Trump for some reason. Don't really care about politics, but yeah. Then over here we have the newest part of the city. All these buildings were built within a week. This is another building from the old End Survival before it was reset, but the old building was only three floors high, but I made it 5, maybe even 6 if you count these little tower things in the top. Just as another sort of callback to the old End Survival before it got reset, and because it would fit in there. Then here you should recognise these two buildings. These are both the buildings that I made on my creative world. I've actually haven't done an interior yet, but they fit in as well. You can see these really short alleyways. You know, also all the floors fit in and they're all the same height. I don't know, thought it was cool. Here is my main house. You should also recognise this. This is like the old English manor building that I had in my creative world. It is the same building except more detailed. Here's the trees and the shrubbery around it. I also built a little greenhouse similar to the design I had in Warp Amazon, except the trees sort of actually grew inside it. They weren't meant to do that. That was my bad. I probably should have thought about that. You can still get in if you break the leaves anyway. But I have built an interior for this house. If you come in here, there's a little jukebox type thing. Here is a kitchen area. It's a sort of modernised kitchen in an old building. I don't know. I haven't done an upstairs yet, so there's nothing up here. Except factors, of course. And here, it's a sort of a sorting system type thing. If you have woods, put it in here, it drops down to the basement, which you can enter through here. If you come round the side of the house, you can actually drop down here, and then we have these little soul sand and magma cube sort of elevator type things, and come up, and the wood you would have put in would drop down here and go into the chest. Now I have my stone chests are filled up the most for obvious reasons. And here's my rarities chest. There's a lot of stuff in it. Here's my spawners chest. There's a lot of spawners in there. And also tried messing around with villagers, but these are the old villagers, not the 1.14 villagers, so they're very boring and basic. So the way to leave is just, you know, come out here and fly up here. If you had an elytra, you could just jump up there. This building, actually this one, this is the basic birch building that I had. I built it block for block. Still really proud of the roof, but not much else to it. This building was the second building I made in the city of Chester still, and I'm really proud of this. It's a barber shop apparently. because of the white and red. And then over here, this is my most recent build on the server. As you can tell, it's another building from my 1.13.2 creative world, except I got rid of the tower and the spire because it didn't look right. It's even got the little bridge thing, which is going to shoot out and attach onto this building. Over here we have the massive part of the biome that I mined away, and here's the massive area that I wanted to turn into the LA River and a sewer type area. Never got round to it, but yeah, these roads, they go everywhere, all over the server. But that's everything, pretty much. But yeah, that's every build on the server that I've done so far. So, I also have God tier armor. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you a tour of my builds on the server. But apart from that, thanks for watching, I guess. Jesus.